here to talk about the fact that we're in June. It's already like 6 months in, and I feel like I'm exactly still at the same place I was last June. Are you feeling the same? Well, I'm here to tell you, like, do not beat yourself up. That is the last thing that you get to do for yourself, because the truth is, yeah, when we're not grounding ourselves in our vision, when we're not having urgency, or maybe there are fears blocking us, maybe there's an unconscious, subconscious limiting belief holding us back that we don't know about, that is kind of creating and generating our life on a loop. I'm going to invite you here today to be a loop breaker. Like, make this loop be the loop that dies in your generation. Like, no more holding back, no more hiding, no more letting other people dictate who and how you're supposed to show up in the world. Like, love them, but have them freaking take a hike. Because the truth is, they're probably still trying to figure out their own lives. So who are they to tell us how to live our own lives? So here, we're close to, all the kids are coming out of school. Some kids are already out of school. Other parents are out there trying to figure out, like, oh, the pressure of having now to support families during the summer while they were still working. It's a huge, real thing, right? I am blessed right now, even though it feels like a curse sometimes because of how my marriage has evolved, to feel like a curse being a stay-at-home mom. But I do recognize the blessings that my children will probably not appreciate until they're well into becoming parents themselves, if they're ever in the space to want to be parents and blessed to be parents. Because, like, if you've been keeping tabs on what's happening right now, we might become a sterile society, and literally we could probably be extincting, like being an extinct race. So this conversation is not about that. This conversation is about taking back your power, reigniting that passion that you always had within you, that fire. Like, if you could just sit here in one moment, like, put your hand on your chest, okay? Do this with me if you feel safe and secure to do so. Put your head on, your heart, focus on it, and ask it. Ask yourself, like, what was the thing that lit you up when you were young? What was the thing that you just knew innately that you were bred here and born here to create? That is the truth of who you are. That is your passion. That is your purpose. Somewhere along the lines, society, upbringing, trauma, circumstance, experience, all that stuff started to dilute that knowing. And eventually, we started looking for others to validate our purpose and our worth and our truth. And then eventually, now as adults, that we don't have people that we look to for that validation, yeah, because we're autonomous at this point. We have lost, and when I say we, I mean me, okay? At that point, I had lost the core of my identity. And so what ended up happening is that everything that I did, said, thought, considered, said yes to, said no to, was based off that new identity. The identity of being a people pleaser, the identity of not wanting to create waves, the identity of playing small, the identity of dimming my light so that others feel comfortable around me, the identity of being everything other than the truth of who I am. And yet I'm sitting here wondering why my life is not at the place where I imagined it to be. Because the truth is, it all is innate. inherent in us. It's all, we're born, our joy, abundance, all of that is our birthright. But everything else that happens in between here and now, and like birthing and now, is noise that gets us separated from our true path. Because we stopped trusting ourselves, because we stopped listening to who we are as a soul being, as a replicate of love and compassion and empathy and power and light. So today, June 5th, are you where you want to be? And if you're not where you want to be, what's stopping you? I would like for you guys to share. I would like for you guys to share here in this live, what is getting in the way of you creating your dream life? What is getting in the way of you really feeling fulfilled in what you're doing? What's missing? And it's not about acquiring and learning and doing more. It really is just about uncovering the truth of who you've always been. And the interesting thing about this conversation is that for me, it feels like it's important to have this conversation. And there are people here coming in and out right now on this live, not wanting to have a conversation about it. Like, are you curious? Are you okay where you are? Are you satisfied with the mundane, mediocre life that you're living right now? I know I'm not. And the truth is, this mediocre life started off as an extraordinary life. Started off as ultimate possibility and opportunity. And the quantum field, God, universe, source, all of that was available to me. And I was able to quantum manifest like this. What changed? I'll tell you what changed. What changed is I started believing the story that my parents, society, the news, other people, other people's beliefs, I started believing that as my truth, even though I felt innately connected to my truth. And I started questioning that. I was like, oh, maybe I am broken. Maybe I'm different. Because I used to always be the pot stirrer. Leave it to Margarita to be the one to create drama in the room. Everybody else is getting along, but why is it that Margarita is the problem? I don't know. I didn't know at the time, but you know what I know now? As a sovereign woman being responsible for her actions, you know what I know now? What I know now is that I was a mirror to them. I was a mirror, and I did not settle. I'd never have been the kind of person to settle for less, for mediocrity. And the interesting thing is that over time, it wore me out to the point to where my life is mediocre now. Not by conscious choice, but by programming. I got programmed into thinking that I was broken, that I was too much, that I need to shut the hell up because I was just pissing people off. And I'm like, oh, I don't want to piss people off. Why is it that when I speak my truth, even though I feel like I come from a space of love, people get upset? Like, especially when I know I come from a space of love. Like, there's a difference between being bold and loving and then being bold and an asshole. So let's just make sure that I clear the air on that. You can't just speak your truth without having compassion and empathy woven in there. because then all you're doing is begetting the problem that we have in the world right now is separation, is feeling like other people are below you and beneath you, when the truth is we're all the same. We're all carrying around our fears, wanting to be seen and heard. And I feel like I've said this many times, but it deserves to be repeated over and over again, because in this time, when time, I think, is anybody else feeling like time is speeding up? Like time feels like it's speeding up. And the more that we vocalize the fact that we feel that time is speeding up, the more that time speeds up, because that is the power of our words. Did you know your words actually are spellcasters? Maybe you didn't know that. I didn't know that. And I didn't even know that I didn't have to say it out loud for it to be a spellcaster. All I had to do was think it. Thoughts are currents. They're vibration, just like words are, because we vibrate. So when we vibrate with a certain emotion, with a certain feeling and a certain thought, we send that signal out like a radio station. And we attract more of the same radio frequencies back to us that are going to play back, right? It's literally a playback. It's a feedback of what we're sending out. So if you don't like the feedback you're getting, if you don't like the frequency you're tapped into right now, then I would like to invite you to get curious about how you're showing up, how you're thinking, what it is that you are thinking, what it is that you're feeling, because it goes beyond thought. When you sustain a thought and an emotion long enough, all it takes is 17 seconds, by the way, of a continuous thought that you repeat all the time, every day, for it to become manifested into your life as like a solid thing. You don't have to believe it. I don't care if you believe it or not. You can call me crazy, you can call me all this stuff, but I don't care. It's the truth. There's so much research now out there that says, yes, you are your power. You're manifesting your life exactly the way that you're manifesting it. So if you're not, just look at the results. Look at the results that you have in your life right now. And if it's not the results that you want, then I ask you to please just get curious about how you're showing up. What are you constantly thinking about? What is the constant reel that you're playing over and over in your head? Are you waking up every morning doing the same thing, looking on social media, checking your emails, and instantly getting triggered by the work and the load and the stress and the problems and the frustration before you've even gotten a chance to be in your body, in your truth, in your joy? Like, are you doing anything before you wake up or before you go to bed to amplify your energy, to cut cords, to clear yourself, to ground yourself, to choose intentionally to be in your joy, to be in your truth, to be in your power, regardless of what is happening outside of you? Because life is always gonna life. It's always gonna life. You have no control over that. The only thing you have control over is how you show up, how you think, how you process, how you feel, what you choose to do as a ritual. Are you even having rituals? Like, can I be honest and raw and real and vulnerable right now? Like, I haven't manifested the things I want in life because I myself have not created the time for it to be a ritual for myself. I had a really good friend of mine just yesterday ask me this question, because I'm so close to her that I allow myself to be vulnerable and sharing my truth with her about certain habits that I have that are not serving me. And she calls me out. Like, I love her for just having the freedom to call me out, like just harshly sometimes even. But because I am where I am, like, I receive it in the space of love, because I know she's only telling me because she sees my light, she sees my greatness. And that's the big reason why I'm able to receive her criticism, or not, maybe not criticism, but her questioning, her curiosity as to why, if I'm this person who's bringing light and joy and all this stuff, why is it that I'm still not able to get out of my own way? And I said simply, when she asked me that, I was like, beautiful question. Thank you for asking. And it becomes, it gets to be a devotion, a ritual, a practice, something that I do every day without fail to empower myself, not just mentally, but also physically and spiritually. I think the most important thing is spiritually, to be able to realign with the truth of who I am as a sovereign woman, as a soulful being, as a child of God, as a child of light and love. So when I'm doing these things that aren't aligning with that truth, it's just a reminder of how I'm trying to people please, to look good, to make sure that I'm keeping the peace. But sometimes cycle breakers, rebels with a sacred cause, and women who are just ready to live their truth, that's something they're not willing to sacrifice anymore. I know I am not. So if you're a rebel with a sacred cause, if you're a cycle breaker, if you're a woman who is ready to be a yes to her life, who is soul led into leading this world to a higher ascension, including Mama Gaia and Pachamama, let me know. Let me comment, follow, subscribe, whatever it is that you got to do to be seen. Like, it's time that we rise one another up in our greatness instead of shooting each other down in competition. Because that is not how we bridge communication. That is not how we bridge healing. That is not how we bridge communities and societies and cultures. So as you sit here today, ignoring this live because I'm not doing something funny, I'm not sticking my finger in my nose, maybe, I don't have like whatever, and I'm not well known yet, and you just are like, yeah, what's, how can I distract myself today? What else can I distract myself with? That's what the people out there who want to control us want us to be. They want us to be in a state of distraction. They want us to be in a state of confusion. They want us to be in a state of disconnected. Not just from ourselves, especially from ourselves, but not just from that, but from our society, our community, our tribe, which is really our core essence of how we survive and how we grow and expand as a race, as a soulful being. Like, we came on this earth to expand and to remember the truth of who we are, which is love and compassion. Like, there's nothing more sacred than those two things, love and compassion. All the other things are just noise. They're to help us forget. They're there to mask the truth of why we came here. We came here to elevate, expand, rise, remember, spark, reignite. All those beautiful words. We didn't come here to hate, compete, step over, forget, dim, hide, play small. We didn't come here for those things. Those are all the things that we were programmed into thinking that we needed to do to fit in. But listen, you could be a dish and fit into the grill of a sewage, but it doesn't mean you belong there. Find the spaces where you belong. And when you're on that journey, I ask you for one thing as you search. The first place that I hope that you search is here first. Where do you belong in your own body? Where do you belong in your own mind and life? Because until you feel in your bones that you belong to yourself, to your truth, to your power, to your joy, to your spark, to your sovereignty, you will never belong anywhere else. You will always be inauthentic, trying to fit in. So the first thing today, June 5th, 2025, that I implore each and every one of us who might be listening to this today, start by searching in your heart again and remembering that inner child who knew their truth. They knew their purpose. Maybe you didn't know your purpose, but you knew what lit you up inside. You knew what brought so much joy to your life that you just wanted more of that. Tap back into that inner child. Tap back into that inner knowing of your birthright. And it's in that space, it's in within that space that will blossom the truth of your purpose now. And the beautiful thing about that is that it'll evolve into fulfillment. So many times I've heard people like Tony Robbins and Dean Graziosi and Shanda Sumner and all these other beautiful, rich billionaires, millionaires talking about how unfulfilled most of the people who make a lot of money are. And that is basic because they don't know who they are. They haven't connected back to the truth of who they are. And my whole life's purpose is to get you there and to remember who you are. Because the truth is, you matter. You're enough just by being. You're enough just by existing. You're not broken. You never were. You're becoming the person you always were meant to be. You can't get there if you're holding other people's blueprint of you as your guiding light. You get to reinvent yourself. Fuck in a world of AI and in the world of internet and in the world of like artists and creativity, like why can't we reinvent ourselves? The truth is we can. So go. How are you going to reinvent yourself this year, this summer? How are you going to reinvent your truth, your story? Like stop being held back by the story of you being right, that you had trauma and hardships and all these things that were done to you. And mind you, like I'm saying that with the deepest respect, heart, and consideration, because I too have been the victim of my story of what happened to me and what people did to me and the things that were wrong about like how I grew up. But the truth is I'm an adult. I don't have these things no longer seriously being like the number one thing holding me back. It's my mind. It's my thoughts. It's my beliefs about it that are holding me back. So instead of being right about your story, instead of being right about how people wronged you, instead of having to prove to people just how broken you are because of those stories, start showing up in your truth. Start showing up in who you really are and just owning and taking up space unapologetically. And surround yourself. The most important thing I want to say, surround yourself with people who see you in your light and honor you and receive you in that space. Because I got to tell you, when I started to finally like reawaken the truth within me of who I have always been, the people around me were not comfortable with me being in that space. They're like, wow, you're different. You're a disruption now. Like, I don't feel safe around you. I'm like, oh, I'm a mirror to you. I trigger you by being a mirror, just by showing up in my light. How am I responsible for that? How am I responsible for how you perceive me living my life? And that's where we are in the world. We judge and we perceive and we criticize people because it doesn't align with our perspective lens. And that really is just your limiting beliefs and what was modeled and how you kept yourself safe in a society that said XYZ means you fit in and the rest, throw it away. But that's just because they wanted to control us. That's just because they wanted to hold us small, that they wanted us to hide and be in fear. Because the truth is, we're so effing powerful as soulful, spiritual, energetic beings. We're so effing powerful. Like, you don't realize how I'm going to be bold right now and saying this, and I might turn people off, and it might come off in a way that some people are going to be like, oh, that's an audacious statement. But the truth is, I stopped watching movies that are aggressive, that have hate, fear. I used to consider when I met my husband early on, he's like, oh my God, you love horror movies. Like, I used to love getting scared. And now, because I know about something called mirror neurons, look them up, okay? Look up what it means. Mirror neurons, okay? I'll just start there. But this is before I even got grounded in mirror neurons. Like, there was just something energetically that was just like, my whole entire being is like anxiety and like high strung and fear. Like, why am I calling this entertainment? I'm paying people to scare the F out of me. I'm paying people to have my physical body be in a fight, flight, and freeze response. Like, what the hell? So first of all, that's what I stopped immediately doing. That's what I have control over. I stopped watching the news for the same reason. I stopped engaging with people who only complain about everything, because I was getting enrolled in the story of how life sucks and everything sucks and everybody sucks and all this stuff is just horrible and it's a loop, 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 loop. And I was just like, wow. I was in a healing space recently, and one of the readers and psychics and healers in the space was like, just for this year, try not to complain. Just don't complain about life. Just only focus and speak the blessings and see what shifts. I was like, wow, that sounds easy, but it's not freaking easy. Because you know why it's not freaking easy? Society says we got to complain. We got to complain about everything. Why? Like, why is that a thing? Why is it that we all feel like we have to just only talk about, like, that's gossip and all that stuff? Like, we just talk shit. Like, we just got so used to talking shit. And then we wonder why we keep finding shit that we step on. We keep finding shit in our lives. We keep finding all of that in our space that we don't want. That we're like, no, I reject that. I reject that. I'm like, but you can't reject it, because all you're doing is thinking and focusing on it. But then you can't go as far as going, I reject it, because the more that you reject it, the more it actually persists in your energy space, because like you're still focusing on it. And if anyone's ever heard of like Abraham Hicks and their teachings, and there's so many other people who actually do this type of work where they channel, but the message is the same. Regardless of where you're getting your message, the message is the same. They're saying your mind controls your reality. So if you're sitting there going, I don't want to feel this pain. Oh my God, I'm grateful for this pain to be gone. I'm so happy this pain feels better. The energy doesn't know that you're wanting to feel at peace and whole, and mobility is back. You're grateful for the mobility. You're grateful for the sense of release or whatever it is, right? It just knows that you keep saying pain, 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 pain. Energy doesn't know the exclusion of. It just knows that that is what you're focusing on. That's why they say what you resist persists, because it's not about it persisting. It's just about what you're focusing on. It's just as simple. It's so freaking simple, guys. Like, life is simple. Why are we making it so hard? This is something that I learned in the leadership program that I was just in. That like, why do we make things harder than they have to be? Why do we have to just think that we have to have all our eggs in a row before we make a choice? But the truth is, it's like, be first. Your first line of defense is to be what you want to be, so that you can have the things that you want to have. Because when you're being the things that you want to be, you start to do the things that align with what you want to have. And so it's a ripple effect. But when you're stuck in the trying the do, the doo-doo, like the doo-doo, don't be in the doo-doo. Be in the action of just embodying the joy, the peace, the love, the healing. Live life as though you are already in it, in that space that you want to be in. Not as a someday, but as a now. And go back just to hear what I said earlier about the power of your words. Like, go back and listen again. I'm sitting here struggling. I'm starting to feel my hip pain again coming back. And the first off, I just heard myself saying, my hip pain. Did you hear? I called it, first of all, I took ownership of it. That's the first mistake. The second thing I did is I called it my pain. And the third thing I did is that it's a constant, that it's back. So now in the quantum field, in the field of manifestation, the universe says, I hear you. I'm coming. I'm so excited to be with you. Woohoo! It doesn't know that it's something you don't want. Like, it literally, it's just coming to your rescue. So it thinks. So how do you reframe that? I get to sit there and go, this hip pain, I get to sit there and just for a minute just focus on it. Breathe into it. And ask my hip, what are you showing me? What are you sharing with me? What are you telling me? And then I pause. Mind you, I have my hands on my hip. And then I pause and I listen. And I hear. You know what she's saying right now to me? That I still feel not good enough. You actually heard something live. I haven't done this with my hip recently, so this space is actually the space that I'm doing it in. And you know what my hip said? It was like, I still feel unworthy. I'm still afraid. I'm still holding on to this identity that is not my truth, like not feeling good enough. guilty in a way that I haven't been able to get out of my own way sooner. And so I honor you. I thank you for being truthful. I thank you for sharing your knowledge. And I'm sorry. I'm so grateful to you because without you, I wouldn't be able to sit down and enjoy my day. I wouldn't be able to get in the car and drive to pick up my children from school. I wouldn't be able to drive or sit down to go on an airplane to visit family, or on a car to visit family, or to go to parties, because my hip would be in so much pain that I'm so grateful that my hip is whole, is healed. I'm so grateful I have such high mobility in my hip. I feel so free to run and stand as I please in any given time, and I am so grateful to that. That's what it sounds like. That's actually like what it sounds like to speak into healing. What you don't want to do is be like, oh, I'm so grateful this pain is gone. I'm so happy my hip is healed. I'm so happy that my hip will feel better soon. Once I get more workouts done, my hip will be, no. Imagine yourself. More importantly, feel yourself in that present state of having no pain, of having mobility, of having that thing that you're aspiring to already have had happened. And that you've lived that for 2-3 years, so that you can really ground yourself in the feeling of what it looks like to have gratitude, and to feel what it's like to have the gratitude of that healing. So go on a journey with me real quick. Imagine that you've been struggling with a debilitating disease or pain for 5 to 10 years, and it's just been something that you thought was your life sentence. Flash forward a few years from now, and you're living in a space where you're free of that ailment, and you've been living in that space for even a month. Like, it doesn't take long. But imagine it even more, right? Because we really want to ground this feeling of, like, imagine what you would be doing, saying, feeling, thinking, experiencing if you didn't have this thing, right, holding you back. So just sit in that space of, like, okay, now you're here 2 years into feeling completely healed, being in a space of wholeness and all that. What are you doing that's different? How are you speaking? How are you even relating to yourself and to that body part, or to that thing that was once holding you back? Like, how are you getting up in the morning and being like, oh my God, I feel so amazing. Like, oh my gosh, I am so free to be in my space. Nothing holds me back. Just sit. Just live in that space for 5 seconds with me. Longer, actually, if you have the time to do that, but people don't have attention spans to do any of that. So just stand and land in that for a second. So now, come back to where you are in this present moment and tell yourself, what was different? How did you think differently? How did you speak differently? How did you dress, walk, act, all that stuff? And it's that version of you that you want to bring into the now for you to create quantum healing. It's simple. It's simple, and yet we are not doing it because why? It takes a little bit of effort. It takes a little bit of effort for us to stand outside of our programming and our beliefs that our actual minds actually can be the quantum creators and manifestors of our experience. So I ask you, where else are you giving away your power? Like, the only place that you get to stand in your power is in your own sovereignty. It's in your own healing. It's in your own mental state and how you think, feel, and act and think and talk. And who you surround yourself with. Those are all the things that you have control over. So if you don't like where you are in life, if you don't like where your life is right now, like, I just invite you to be curious about, like, how are you creating that in your space? How are you being okay by maintaining that lifestyle? So if you don't like your life, I urge you to change your thoughts, to change your choices, to think outside the box. I think I can go on forever and ever, and sometimes I don't know what I'm gonna say when I go here live. And sometimes there are people engaging and making comments like, there's someone here, oh, this is boring, or like saying things like skibbity toilet and all the other stuff to try to distract from the core truth of what they know in their soul. And their soul is like not ready to hear it yet. So if you're not ready to hear this, then this will not reach you. But if you're ready to hear this, then I urge you to take action. If you're watching this to its entirety, because it's almost 45 minutes long, then I just invite you to take action in some of the things that were said here today. To be responsible for your own life without judgment and without criticism, just with neutrality, just love and compassion, and remember to give yourself grace and forgive yourself, because that's the only way that you can move forward. At least for me, it was what helps me move forward in my healing journey, is to allow grace and forgiveness to enter my heart, not just for myself but for the people out there. Because every time I held people accountable for the things they did to me, I noticed that I was continuously giving my power away to them by making it right, that I was powerless. And as soon as I forgave the situation, because I didn't have autonomy, or I wasn't given the choice, right, to to be a yes or no for the situation. But I have the choice now to be a yes or no for giving away my power to you, to make this situation continuously be the thing that holds me small, that makes me want to hide, that makes me wrong, that makes me feel broken. I forgave those who trespassed me, not because I wanted to forgive them and forget what they did to me, but because I was ready to grow. I was ready to take ownership of my life again. And the longer I held on to that version, that story, the harder it was for me to actually take action into my life. So today, I'm coming with you, to you, as someone who is still evolving, who's still growing, who still hasn't figured it all out, and I'm still open, taking myself on and learning. And life is about learning and expanding and evolving. It's not about getting it right and then being done. Like what? Like you can't just wash a dish and then it never be used again, right? That's what life is like. Life is like a dish. It's constantly getting dirty so that you can wash it again. Constantly getting dirty so that you can wash it again. And every time you wash it, you have more of an appreciation for the dish, because the dish has fed you the things that you needed so that you can survive and continue on this path. So until next time, my friends, I urge you, please be the soul spark in your life. Find the truth of who you are outside of the noise, outside of the programming, outside of the limiting beliefs and perspective lens that you're carrying. Because sometimes you don't know what you don't know, and it takes a coach or a friend who loves you, who sees you in your light, to call you out lovingly so that you can step into your power profoundly. We need you right now. We need your light. There is such a calling right now for people to come into this world to be that. It's your chance, but it's now. Don't let this life go by. It's already June. It's already June 2025, and I feel like it was June 2020 just a second ago. So don't let life continuously be slipping through the cracks. Take ownership. Love yourself, because you matter. You're enough just by being who you are. You have a soul gift to offer the world. Shine it. Be bold. Be courageous. Be true. I love you. I am Margarita Rose. I hope that you subscribe to my channel. I hope that you hit the bell to get notified when I come on live or post anything that could be the post that will be the needle for you to finally be a yes to your life, to spark your joy, reignite the path of your true soul's purpose. Don't forget to treat each other with love. Be kind to yourself and others. Lead from love and spread joy. Joy is a choice, and you can really find joy in anything and everything that you do. Until next time, I am Margarita Rose, also known as Mama Rita Rose. I have a Sparkcast every Tuesday that comes on live with beautiful leaders in the world sharing how they came back home to themselves and what it takes and what it looks like to continuously come home to themselves in a world that is very noisy and chaotic. All right, I love you. Be well. If this resonated with you, I would love for you to share it or comment on what you heard me say and what you're willing, what you choose to be, how you take yourself on this year, this summer, maybe just this summer, maybe just today. It starts small, okay? If you haven't done anything, just start small. Don't go all overboard, because then you're going to feel like the fall is so big. Don't set yourself up to fail. Like, just do small little things. That's all it takes. Small little actions will build on your confidence. If you were never a finisher before, just think of one thing that you can finish today. Just one thing that you can finish consistently for 2 weeks. That one thing that you haven't been able to do. Maybe it's put the toilet seat down. Maybe it's remembering to pray at the end of the day. Maybe it's remembering to control your breath for that second that you feel activated. Whatever it is, it takes small steps for you to build on your confidence. And every time you build on your confidence, you're able to take a bigger, bolder step each and every time after that. So here it is. I cheers to you. I cheers to you being bold. I cheers to you taking baby steps. I cheers to you taking yourself on. I cheers to you for being true in your light of who you are as a sovereign, loving, compassionate, soulful, energetic being. You're not here by mistake. You chose to come here because now is the time that we need you and your specific gifts that you came here with and your purpose to help us to grow and expand and heal and live in peace. It's up to you. life is up to you. So I hope that you take it. And I hope that you honor it. And I hope that you just live bold. I love you. And I think I hit the X here to cancel this call. All right, until next time, I'll see you soon. Please subscribe.